told my SB blaze low, just like it was Tiffany. I don't want hang link up, smoke up right now. I feel low energy in my way, talking about I can't flex up, we must be enemies. I don't want sync with shorty, she know the words of my raps. Sometimes synergy, other times look at my watch. You 12 past killing me, thinking myself a whole lot. That's just big deal to me. Thrill, I be somewhere in the chase, keep on spending me. Touch a bill, think that you got a little money just to blow it all. What you know, I'm at the stoop just to watch, I ain't no know-it-all.
One, I forgot to unmute myself. Welcome to the tip off, hosted by Joshua Blakely and Nicholas Hoffman. Isaiah is not here this week. Hopefully, he'll be back here next week. We took a break off, kind of, sort of, last week, so we're back with a full episode this time. Not much to say about the All-Star break. You guys, everything you kind of heard me yell about, they kind of all agree with. But what is brand new is this Clippers rebrand. How are we feeling about the Clippers rebrand so far, Josh?
Dude, the red uniforms are nice. I actually really like the red uniforms. Yeah, it's cool. You know, I mean, I think it makes sense with the new arena and everything. They got to kind of do the rebrand. I like kind of the basicness to it. Yeah, they're clean looking.
Yeah, I like it. I'm curious. Are they getting the new stadium next season?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's still in LA, right? I thought it was in Inglewood or something.
Yeah, it's in Inglewood.
Got you. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I like it. I think they're kind of going really hardcore into that blue and the Clippers, and
I like the coordinates.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
cool
what's up with the? I'm trying to figure out what's that in the middle.
I don't.
In the middle of the sea.
I don't know.
Is there a way to? Yeah. That's something I got to figure out.
Yeah.
Is that a ship? What is that? Regardless.
Yeah, I really don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah. Regardless, I don't know. I'm excited. I like when teams rebrand instead of doing what the.
Oh, it's the hull of a ship. A
Okay.
nod to the team's San Diego Harbor origins. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
And includes basketball seams. That's why we can't figure out what the hell it is.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, the Clippers, they're going up. I'm excited for them. I saw everywhere on Twitter, somehow, some way, Harden will find a way not to wear this jersey. So I guess we're waiting on that. I wish that when they would show jerseys like this, they would let the team wear it like once or twice if they're still in season.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of want to do it with the new stadium.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they're just trying to pump it up and stuff. I think it makes sense to wear them the first night in the new stadium. So.
Yeah. Well, on to the next thing. I know Jacques Vaughn, he was fired recently. Tell us what you know about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a mess. I don't know how much Brooklyn Nets you've watched, but really looked like there was no direction out on the court. A lot of the players were actually publicly talking about that they were kind of confused and they didn't really understand what type of offense they were running. We had Mikal Bridges publicly lobbying to get Cam Thomas in the starting lineup. The Nets have had a rough time sticking to a coach. I think in all reality, probably should have stuck with Kenny
How long ago
Atkinson.
was Steve Nash? Was that just a season ago?
Just a season ago, yep. And then before that was Kenny Atkinson, who wanted to start Jared Allen over DeAndre Jordan, which was probably the right decision. And, KD got him fired. And then KD got Nash fired. And Jacques Vaughn was, the players' coach. And so, yeah, I don't know really what the Nets are doing. Just from a whole organizational standpoint, it just doesn't really make sense that they were offered all their picks back for Mikal Bridges and they turned that down. I don't know. I guess they're just trying to fill the seats.
I'm really lost with the Nets. I've been this whole season. The fact that they didn't move Ben Simmons or even have a rumor of them trying to move Ben Simmons in that contract to me shows that they may still try to give him a chance. He has another season, right? On a max, at least seasons ago, max. Regardless, max is a max. I don't know how you even think to look to the future with a slightly under 500 team and overpaying players. You can't buy into stuff and you can't draft into stuff. I think they're pretty lost right now. I want to see Mikal in a new place. I want to see him in a new home. I want him to be a part of a contending team. But I mean, I say about a lot of guys in that team. If they can pull it out, they can pull it out. I like their future. I like their core. Claxton, you have both Cams, the Cams. We're gonna call them the Cams. And Mikal, I like their future. I like what they have going on. They have Schroeder now. That doesn't make much sense, but I like what they have going on. Maybe they just want to bring in a coach that the Pistons were trying to do and bring in a guy who's good with young guys. But I thought Jacque Vaughn was fine as well. I think there's a lot of stuff going on with this coach is just getting fired in the NBA last like 3 years because nobody knows the direction they're going. So they just keep switching coaches, hoping the coach will figure that out for them. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Yeah. If you had a bet on it, 2-3 seasons, where do you see the Nets like this version of the Nets?
I think they're going to be looking at blowing it up. I think the idea is that they want to buy in and trade for the star, right? Because they don't really have a number one. Mikal Bridges is a nice number 2, maybe a number 3. And I think the idea is that they have this core set up, and if they can get a number 1, they're kind of good to go. I just don't see the path to get that guy. I just don't see where he comes from, how they get him, and and they're in this weird funk where they have none of their picks. So it doesn't make sense to tank. So it's kind of like just.
I think Mikal Bridges on the Nets is what it would be like if you gave Jaylen Brown his own team.
Yeah.
I think I look at them almost very identically. One's a better finisher. One's a better shooter. They're both good at defense. One's slightly better than the other, but regardless, they're damn near the same player. It's a mid-level all-star / fringe all-star leading a team. This is what's going to happen. You see the blueprint in the league of how to turn this into success and how to get to success with players like that. They're not following it. They're not following it at all. So I mean, I think they're just hoping and praying on some trades in the offseason more than likely.
Yeah.
Regardless, on to the next thing. Doc and Giannis comments. Tell us about those comments.
I mean, this whole thing's a mess, right? I mean, Giannis is complaining about the ownership changes. He's complaining about the coaching changes, 2 of them. He's the one pushing for all this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, now granted, Giannis isn't the one making the final decision and firing Bud and then firing. I'm blanking on his name. Help me here.
Coach.
Yeah, the last coach that they just fired.
Oh wait, it's gonna come to me.
I know it's gonna come to me in like 5 minutes.
He's an all-star coach, dude, and we're disrespecting the heck out of him.
Oh my god!
I'm just gonna look it up.
Oh my god, Adrian Griffin. Griffin. It's like, geez, he's got a kid in the freaking league that we talk about.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I keep
yeah, he's on the Hawks. But man, this whole thing is just kind of a mess. They trade for Dame. I don't know. And then, Doc Rivers making all these comments about I asked the Bucks front office why they're even doing this, why they are firing him. And they basically said, well, it's already done. I mean, Doc just seems like he's kind of setting up the excuses already. Like
why did he take this job? If you're a respectable person, you see this situation. Do you take this job? No.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. But
if you take this job with that attitude, right? If you take it with that attitude of I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I mean, shit, wish it on me, man. I'll come coach the Bucks. Come on, what what is he even talking about? You're in the NBA. I don't know.
All right, let me put it this way: they've won their last 2. and great games as well. Thanks to Giannis. I'm not as down on the Bucks as I was before the All-Star break. And I don't know if it was just seeing Giannis and Dame and also their coach interact with superstars in the league during there. But no, man, I think they could easily push it somewhere. I don't think they're beating the Celtics though.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible at all. They're a lot of pieces away, or a few, but I mean, that whole team has just been complaints and drama this whole season.
Yeah.
I hate it. The JJ Redick crap with Pat Bev and Doc Rivers and Giannis talking about even what did Scotty Barnes he was made a joke to Giannis at the All-Star break about Giannis commenting on even the
equipment manager.
Our equipment manager needs to do better. That whole team is just complaining because everyone thought they were going to be this. They realized very quick they weren't going to get there, and all we've heard is complaints. I don't know. I personally, I just want to see him in the playoffs, and until then, I know he'll make it. So I'll worry about the Bucks around then, just because you never know with Dame, you never know with Giannis. So
it's disappointing to me to see Giannis act like this when it feels like he's been a big reason for the coaching changes.
Actually, the entire reason.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, he's the one that, was basically publicly going against Adrian Griffin, checking himself back in the game, all the post-game interviews, all that stuff. He basically kind of got Adrian Griffin fired. And he's the one that wanted Adrian Griffin hired over somebody like Nick Nurse, which is still blows my mind that you hired. I mean, look, Adrian Griffin is a good coach, I think, at the core. People have been talking about him for years when he was an assistant in Toronto. But I think the reality is they gave a 16-year-old kid a Ferrari and said, go ahead, drive. Don't crash. Yeah. Go pick up all your friends and don't crash. And it's like, they should have hired a freaking adult. They should have hired Nick Nurse, who was like, let's not forget the Bucks chose not to hire him. Like, it wasn't like the Sixers swooped in and took him away. Like, he was in the final stages of the interviews, and they decided to go with Adrian Griffin because that's who Giannis really liked. And then Giannis decides, I don't like him. It's just, it's sad to see Giannis, who's a guy that I think
Giannis is doing what Doc Rivers is doing, right? He's just laying the breadcrumbs for excuses. Now he's saying, I didn't really want him fired. I just wanted things to change.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of it's out of my hands once they got a new coach. Like, I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. As sad as that is to say, I think that's just the reality of it. That being said, they could do this all season, and if they come to the playoffs and make it to that Eastern Conference Finals, I'm happy with what happened with them. I'm perfectly fine.
I am too. Yeah, as long as they don't get swept by the Celtics, if they lose in 6 games or so, I'm fine with
even
that.
5 games. I really think the Celtics and the Nuggets are the 2 best teams in the league, and there's not many teams close.
By far.
Yeah. But anyways, on to the next thing. Wemby almost 2 in back-to-back games of 2 5x5 games. They're going to call this man Mr. 5x5 by the time he retires. First player since 2019 to have a 5x5. That's 5 stats with either 5 or more in it. And he's the youngest ever. I think it's crazy the amount of things we've seen this year of look at the youngest ever stat line for Wemby, right? How many more times are we gonna say that just this season? Probably a few more times. My main question is this: has he met expectations this far into the season?
I think he's exceeded them. Because I didn't expect him to be the offensive player. Now the shooting's coming around. I didn't expect him to be the offensive contributor that he is at this point. He's really come along. I mean, this goes back. I just freaking love this guy. I mean, the first thing he says when they're talking about this is he's like, well, they were talking about how Michael Jordan had, the 5x5 games. And he's like, well, I'm curious if Michael Jordan did them in losses. He goes, because it really doesn't feel good to do this in a loss. This guy he has a freakish body and a freakish mentality. And this is kind of the reason why I was saying, from the get-go, this guy might be in the GOAT debate. He might end it. He might end the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate because nobody cares. Because Wemby, he has a chance to be the best defensive player in the league and one of the better offensive players in the league, which we really haven't seen that done. Where
what's up for Giannis?
I mean, you're putting Giannis. I'm saying the very best defensive player and one of the best offensive players. I mean,
I think that year he won DPOY. You wouldn't say he did both of those.
I mean, maybe
I'm not comparing Giannis to the potential of Wemby, but
maybe for a year. But I feel like this guy's going to do it for majority of his career.
Yeah,
right.
And he might already be one of the best, like a top 10 NBA, top 5 NBA defender. Yeah, he had 5 games in a row with adding up, averaged 9 stats and blocks combined. Mm-hmm. That's crazy, dude. Like that's kind of insane.
And I think the biggest thing is that, freaking knock on wood here, is that he stayed healthy. I mean, he had, the one freak thing where he lands on the ball boy's foot in warm-ups and he misses a few games because of an ankle. But besides that, the guy's been healthy. He's not as fragile as we were worried about him being so far. I
will say this. I think a part of that health is he only plays 30 minutes. Now, that's also a testament to how well he's been playing. It's only been in less than 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But he is capped at 30 minutes. So that is probably a reason why maybe that team hasn't won as much, etc. But have you heard the rumors about Trae Young and Spurs? And apparently that's going to be a free agency possible move.
I've heard it. I mean, I don't know how to put this. I feel like if you're going to have Trae Young on your team, Wemby's the best back line to have to cover up for a Trae Young type player.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't think I love it, but I also don't hate it. I really don't.
He's one of the best playmakers in the league right now.
Yeah. I really don't hate the idea of him running pick and rolls. I mean, obviously you don't want to put Wemby in too many picks.
Can you imagine just the height difference of that duo? Yeah. That's going to be the biggest height difference duo in league history, probably.
Yeah. But the spacing and the attention that Trae Young would draw, and then Wemby being able to kind of back him up on the defensive side, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I would rather DeJounte Murray, but the Trae Young and Wemby combo does sound like a much quicker to the playoffs route for Wemby than DeJounte Murray does, just because it kind of fixes a lot of their scoring problems.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you get some extra defenders in that team, they're not going to have much defensive problems. I don't think they'll be contenders, but if that's a duo you sit on for 3-4 years, that's a duo that'll get you to the top of the West in 3-4 years.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But regardless, I guess before we end the Wemby talk, is he a top 5 center right now for you?
Top 5 center.
Yep. Jeez, we have 2 obvious that are better, right? Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah, Jokic and Embiid.
Is he better than AD?
No. Yes. I don't really know, man. I guess I would say no. I would say no because I've seen Anthony Davis do it in the finals and do it in the playoffs. So is
he better than Gobert?
Yes.
Better than Cat?
Yeah.
Is he better than Bam?
Probably not. No.
That's all 4 centers that I can think of. That's all 5 centers I can think of in my head that might be better. He might be a top 5 center right now, and that's crazy. Is he better than Chet? Yeah, I agree.
He's better than Chet. Chet's just more efficient, but Chet also has a smaller role. But yeah, I mean, if you look up, is he better than Sabonis?
I don't think so. Oh, dude, maybe.
Yeah, that's he's better than Jared Allen. He's better than Claxton. He's better than Vooch.
His playmaking is coming a long way as well already.
Miles Turner. Is he better than Miles
I thought
Turner
about
right
that.
now?
Miles Turner had a great game.
It's hard to like put this in perspective because it's like, well, by next year he probably will be for sure.
By next year he's probably better than almost everyone but Jokic and Embiid.
So Hoops Hype right now, they have their centers as Jokic number 1, Embiid 2, Sabonis 3, Bam 4, Miles 5, and then Wemby 6.
Okay.
Which I think is fair.
I'm not upset.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think he's right on the cusp. And you can also, like, you could make the argument to me that he's better than Turner and he's better than Bam. You can make it, and I wouldn't think you're wrong.
You can make it.
But
you can make it. No, but all right. Perfect. Which teams do you have off of Wemby? Give me 3 teams in the Western Conference that you have on your. These are the teams that you would tell a casual to watch up until the playoffs.
Up until the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
3 teams in the West.
As a homer, it's the Thunder. The Thunder are just a fun team to watch. They share the ball. Shea is just absolutely incredible. He gets people on skates almost every game, just kind of embarrassing them the way he moves around. And they're playing 5 out, which is just, I mean, it's the style of basketball that I like to see. It's just that 5 out.
I love 5. All right, it worked. I'm going to say this, bro. I'm losing a little bit of hype with the Thunder because Jalen Williams might be too small of a 4 for that team to win it.
Oh, he is. He is.
Yeah.
He is. They're definitely too small. Like, they need a real 4.
Yeah. Either that or they need a 5 and put that man at the 4.
Put Chet at the 4? Yeah. See, I like Chet at the 5 just because he has such a knack for the rim protection that I just.
He's like Wemby. He's too tall to. He gets too many easy buckets. You get at least 8 free open shots of Wemby a game. Same with Chet.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is we saw them the other night. They pulled Josh Giddey out of the starting lineup. They started Isaiah Joe. It looked a lot better. And the second unit with Giddey looked a lot better. Another team is the Timberwolves. I mean, they're the first. They're first in the West, and they've been a really fun team to watch. And then the third, I mean, I guess I'd say probably the Phoenix Suns, just because you got these 3 All-Stars that are finally getting close to healthy. I think Bradley Beal's supposed to come back like any day now. And they don't want to be in the 6th seed. They're going to be trying to move up in the standings, so I think they're going to be playing pretty hard. So those are my picks.
I think in the West, you really can't go wrong watching the 5th through the 10th seed for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Just because that's going to be the teams going to be fighting so hard not to be in the play-in. Because the Jazz aren't going to make the play-in.
No, they're tanking. They're like
So I mean, they did just win, but they beat the Spurs, or I forget who they beat.
Yeah,
but
the moves they made at the trade deadline were like tanking type moves.
Yeah, but all those other teams, they're going to be playing hard to get out of that play-in, so those are going to be great teams. My favorite teams in the West right now, though, since the All-Star break to watch, are the Mavericks. The New Look Mavericks are it's just so fun to watch that team. The Lakers, LeBron post playoff, his teams always try really hard not to be in the play-in.
Yeah.
So the Lakers, they're entertaining for sure after All-Star. And then the Pelicans, dude, Zion has looked great, even physically great the last month or two. I don't know, that man is moving. I'm loving Pelicans games right now. So definitely those are my teams there. And then on the East, I'll just run through my East team. Definitely right now the Cavs.
Yep.
The Cavs are going crazy. Us Bulls, we're back into playoff contention. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone counted us out but me. I never talked bad about us. And that Pacers team, I still think they're going to make a good push here. Pre-playoffs. it doesn't make sense to make the Siakam trade and not try and go hard in the playoffs season one. So that's what I'm interested in. How long until New York gets back OG and Randall?
I think Randall's out for another couple weeks.
Got you.
Sure.
Because it's making me curious on if they're going to end up falling a lot or not.
Yeah, I think he's out for. Yeah, I mean, they're talking about him probably needing surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they looked awesome up until those injury bug hit them. Pray for New York next year. That's the reality of it, I think. That's what's sad. Favorite East teams to watch right now? Who you got?
Yeah. Well, you took two of mine with the Cavs and the Pacers. I mean, the Cavs have just been super hot. They kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of looked like, not like their season was over, but it kind of was starting to look like, what are we really doing here? And then they went on that tear. I think they won, They went like 17-2 or something like that.
I think you called it like week 4 of this season on here. I think you said something about the Cavs looking like crap compared to what we thought they were going to be in our preseason predictions.
Yeah.
So they definitely
were.
I can see.
Yeah. And I mean, now they're just tearing it up. They and the Pacers, obviously the new look. I like Siakam with the Pacers. That's just looked great. And then my last team would be the Magic. The Magic have had a lot of injury bugs. They went down to the wire the other night with the Pistons, and Paolo hit a game-winning shot. Paolo's been in and out with, illnesses and stuff. I still think this team is kind of like a sleeper, could do something in the playoffs, maybe upset somebody, or take a really good team to like 6-7 games.
Maybe like the Sixers.
Yeah, the thing is, and now granted, it's all been regular season stuff, is they've played good teams well. They beat the Celtics, they beat some of these top teams. I don't think they're going to win a series against like somebody like Boston. But if you told me the Magic took them to 6 games and, 2 of the games went into overtime or something like that, like I'd buy it.
I'd say you're smoking.
I'd buy it.
Smoking. What?
I'd buy it. Yeah. I'm not saying they'd ever win. I don't think in a million games they probably.
I think they get swept.
You think they get swept?
I think they get swept by the best team in the league in the fastest NBA era ever.
I might be, a little overhyped on the Magic. I like this team.
There's a good chance the Bulls play the Celtics in the playoffs first round right now, but the way it's looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and tell you right now. We're just done, swept, over, GG. Yeah. But all right, we got NBA Twitter. JJ Redick had a video recently where he went over some NBA Twitter rule changes they thought would fix the league, and there are a few of them I thought were a little interesting when I went looking at all the posts. I just got 3 of them here. Let me know how you feel about these rule changes. Expand the restricted area. It's a 2-parter. Expand the restricted area an extra 5 feet. And then the second part is no charges on airborne players.
No.
None of the 2 of those sound winnable for you?
No. We already make it so hard on the defense. It's already so hard to play defense in the NBA. And I get it from the entertainment. We want to see Ja Morant and, prime Derrick Rose flying through the air, and we don't want to see guys taking charges and hurting them. But I think we have to keep you could do that. I'd be okay with it, but then we'd have to bring back hand checking or something.
Okay.
There would have to be an offset to it.
It would help with injuries, right? Theoretically.
It would help with injuries, and they would also be scoring 200 points a game because Ja Morant could just beat every person by 1 step and launch from a foot inside the free throw line, and nobody could do anything about it. So I think these players have to learn how to play under control. And that's kind of – now, if you told me we're going to bring back hand checking or, we're going to increase defense of 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay, maybe I could, maybe that'd be worth, testing out in the G League and Summer League and seeing what it looked like. But I just think it already leans too offensively.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I kind of agree, actually. Next rule. Player of the month and player of the week should count towards end of season awards. And they put up an example. Their example was like player of the week or month would be worth X amount of votes, while the month would be like player of the week would be worth X amount of votes, and player of the month would be worth X amount of votes. And if you get those, it'll also add to your voting tally for end of season awards, is what they're saying. How you feel about that rule?
I like it. I do like it. I mean, I know the voters take it really seriously and stuff, but I think sometimes they kind of fall victim to a little bit of a narrative. And I think that's
recency bias.
Yeah, or recency bias. And I think that could maybe offset a little bit of that or make a voter think like, oh, like, right, this guy won player of the week 6 times, or this guy won player of the month 3 times. Like, so I think that could offset it a little bit. Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, I'd have to, somebody smarter than me would have to figure out how it all works and how it counts and gets tallied and everything. But I don't hate like the idea of that. How do you feel?
No, I like it a lot. I don't know if I don't know how you would even like put that into numbers. But, I mean, I like it because I do think those awards should mean something.
I think it would entice, harder play during the regular season. Nothing crazy, but I think it'd just be.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah,
one of those
I think things like that would help.
Yeah.
Next one, no defensive 3 seconds.
Okay. No.
I like it.
I've heard increasing defensive 3 seconds to 4 seconds or 5 seconds. I don't hate that, but just being able to plant Rudy Gobert in the paint, they
do it in Europe.
I know, and I don't like it. So it's like, I don't know. I mean,
can you do that though in this modern day where everyone can shoot?
Well, that's the thing is like it'd be on a matchup basis, but like if you look at the Thunder, like I mean, I'd leave Giddey out on the 3-point line and let Giddey beat me. If I'm the Timberwolves, I'm putting Rudy Gobert in the paint and guarding everybody but Giddey and just taking my chances.
I mean, I agree actually. Yeah, if I'm playing against Thunder.
And I think a lot of teams basically play one non-shooter. A lot of teams have one guy that's
the Bulls. We'll play 2 to 3.
Yeah,
we'll have Drummond, DeRozan, and someone else out there just can't shoot them.
Yeah. So I don't love it just being taken away. I do like maybe potentially increasing it to 4 or 5 seconds because when you look at how defense is played right now, the guys are basically just roaming through the paint. Like you really can't sit there at all. I think that would be worth testing out. I don't like the idea of just totally getting rid of
it. Okay. I like it. But I also think there should be like a universal basketball rules.
Okay.
I think that like this Euro League way to play, high school way to play, American high school way to play, AAU rule set, college rule set, NBA rule. I don't like all that. Then we should just all come to some kind of agreement on what the one is. And it's
high school needs a shot clock. I'm going off on a tangent here, but high school needs a shot clock.
They also need a gather step.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things, but regardless, I think there should be one universal rule set. And if I was creating that rule set in my head, the no defensive 3 or the defensive 3 itself is something I would definitely want to tweak from the NBA if I was making that rule set, which is why I'm like, I'm willing to try no defensive 3 just to see how it affects, especially with the modern era. Because it's not like back in the day where teams have 2-3 people who just can't shoot them. So, I mean, I'm willing to try it, especially if you say you can't take charges on airborne players, but you can sit there in the paint. I mean, look, we start mixing and matching. Something might work out.
Yeah.
But regardless, That's all I have for those. We have time here. This is the quickest draft we'll ever do. We're gonna pick one player. You only get to pick one player. You're gonna make a starting 5, any position you want. We're gonna pick one player from each era. That being hold on 1 second. The 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the modern era. You'll just pick one player from that era.
Okay.
All right, and that's 5 eras, so you'll have 5 players. You'll get one player from each era to make your starting 5.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to start with older to young?
Yeah, let's go older to current. Yeah.
All right, gotcha. Let me write this down. All right. Since I brought it up, I'll let it be up to you. If you want me to go first, you to go first. We cannot draft the same person. We'll go snake.
Yeah. Yeah. You go first.
All right. For my 80s, I'm gonna take damn, fuck.
I know it's like it's too wide open. There's really like no wrong picks. Like,
can I take Hakeem Olajuwon?
Sure.
Perfect.
All right. I'll take Larry Bird and then I'll take Jordan.
God damn. Yep. Who goes with freaking Hakeem, dude? I gotta throw somebody on Larry, right? Or somebody on oh boy here. There wasn't many great stars that weren't playing center back then. I think I'm gonna take Pippen.
Okay.
And then wait. T-Mac had that all-star season in like 99, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take T-Mac instead of Pippen.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take Kobe from my 2000s. Go ahead.
I'm taking Shaq.
Okay. And then you have the 10s?
Oh. Okay. Are we considering Tim Duncan 2010s?
Yeah. He won a chip.
Okay. So, yeah, give me Duncan.
All right. I'm going to take LeBron. And then Curry won that chip in 20, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take Curry. And then last one's for you.
And then, so what is this? Just like current?
Current era, yep. Just anything 2020 and beyond.
Oh, man. Dude, this is tough.
Yeah, I think I got you already, but we'll compare. We'll compare.
Oh, man. I mean, I guess I need a point guard, right?
You have Bird, Jordan, Shaq, Duncan.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You just take Shea here? Is that your move?
I kind of want to. I kind of want to, but I feel like that's wrong. Like
I mean, what other person is there? I took Curry.
Oh,
you take Harden? What do you do?
And like, are these like in their prime? Right?
No. These are like the best, like the prime of that era. So anybody 2020 and past, the prime of them during a version of them that's played since 2020.
Oh man! All right, just give me Shea. I'll take.
All right, take Shea. All right, comparing the teams by positions, right? With T-Mac and Kobe be my 2. Kobe would be my 2. T-Mac would be my 3. All right, we have Curry and Shea, Kobe and Jordan, Bird and T-Mac, LeBron and Duncan, and Shaq and Hakeem.
Yeah.
I think I got this.
I mean, I guess I don't know, man.
You do have a song. There's one guy in your team that can shoot.
Yeah. not mid range. No, mid range. We're killing
mid-range. You're killing it, dude. Yeah, mid range. You got everyone but Shaq. Yeah. But I don't know, bro. I think if you could play with that no defensive 3, we're doing pretty decent.
Anyways, that's just tough, man. There's too many good players.
And it was like off on the spot, so I get it. I just wanted to bring back a draft. I made it quick, so regardless, If we have nothing else to talk about, that is the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. Well, tune back in 8:30 next week, live right here on our YouTube on 22 Basketball, or on our Twitch here on the Kickback. Hit that follow button, and we'll be back next week, Monday at 8:30.